Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the webinar today. Thank you for giving us a bit of time, and hopefully we can give you some information about the holiday activity and food programme for Surrey. So I'm Nick Fraser, I'm the Active Communities Lead at Active Surrey, and I am joined by my colleague Laurie, and we're going to present some information to you and take questions at the end. Please can I ask that you keep your camera off and you stay on mute whilst we're presenting, and use the chat box at the end of the session to ask any questions that you might have. Like I said just now, we will be recording this and making it available to watch afterwards via our website, and we'll also make the slides available on the website for you to have a look at and refer back to if you need to. So we'll dive straight into the information that we've got. So a little bit of background about holiday food activity programme. As we know, there are holidays are periods of time that there are increased childcare costs and potentially reduced incomes. So families that are on low incomes are more likely to experience an unhealthy holiday. And we've probably all heard of the term around holiday hunger and how that's grown, become a more and more prevalent issue, particularly with COVID. That's obviously we've all been dealing with over the last year, and hopefully we're all looking forward to the roadmap of coming out of that over the course of the next few months. So with that in mind, the government have made their intention very clear about ensuring disadvantaged children continue to get access to a nutritious meal and enriching activities. There was a big campaign led by a very famous footballer that you also will be aware of, and securing some additional funding of 220 million through the Department of Education for a nationwide holiday activity and food programme. And in Surrey, Surrey County Council will receive 1.9 million of that pot, and that is to cover the rural areas of Surrey, so the areas of the 11 boroughs and districts that fall within Surrey County Council's jurisdiction. And within Surrey, we've branded our holiday activity food programme as Club4, focusing around friends, fun, food and fitness. And over the summer holidays, we are looking at creating 4,000 opportunities per day for free school meal children to access. So it's quite a large opportunity, large programme that we're looking at delivering across the county. So just in kind of a nutshell, just to summarise what the programme involves. So obviously we're aiming to support children to eat more healthily, be more active, take part in a range of activities to sort of support them through, dare I say, COVID recovery, those terms getting bandied around as well. We talked a little bit just now about social isolation, making sure that they're safe and giving them sort of a greater understanding of health and nutrition and why that's so important to future life. So the specification of the programme from DfE is that it's eligible for all age children from reception through to year 11, so not counting early years and not counting after age 16, and it's open to children that are eligible for free school meals. And what we are looking for organisations to deliver over the summer holidays. So this is ideally the first 4 weeks of the summer holidays. So from Monday, the 26th of July through to the Friday, the 20th of August. And the specification of delivery in that period, you don't have to deliver for the whole 4 weeks if you want to. It might be that you choose to do 1 week or 2 weeks, again, subject to how you see it working best for your organisation. But we do require that provision is 4 hours a day for a minimum of 4 days a week. And there are some more in-depth kind of minimum standards that I'll come on to in a minute. But the programme has to include a minimum of 1 hour of physical activity a day, 1 meal, preferably hot. And again, I'll come on to that in a little bit more detail. And also some enrichment activities that might be arts, crafts, drama. It can be a range of different things. And we would expect organisations who apply to be able to evidence their policies and procedures, so we can ensure that like high quality, the standard of provision is really, really high quality for these young people. It can be existing provision, so there's a range of different organisations on the call today. It might be that you already run holiday provision, so it can fund free school meal places for existing provision. It might be a mixture of paid places, some free places, and it can be longer than 4 hours. So if you already run activity that is 6 hours, for example, that's absolutely fine. You can still apply. Families are able to claim back 85% of their costs through universal credit, but they can only do that if your provision is Ofsted registered. So there are some loopholes on Ofsted registration, which again, we've got guidance within our guidance document on the website for you to read through. So again, all of this guidance is detailed in a lot more information in the pack that's on the website, but just to kind of give you a top level idea of what we're looking for organisations to deliver. So obviously the food part is key. We must include 1 meal a day, preferably hot. We understand that there are some difficulties with that, and we might be able to connect you to hot food providers if needed. But all food that's provided must meet school food standards. And again, there's a link to that DfE guidance in the guidance pack that's on the website. Physical activity. So as I've stated, all provision must include at least an hour of physical activity every day. Alongside that can be enrichment activities, like I said, arts, dramas and crafts, opportunities for these children, young people, to either learn something new or try out a new experience, or maybe build on existing skills that they already have. Every day we're looking for organisations to provide a nutritional education piece. It doesn't need to be anything that's like formal learning as such. It might be as simple as taste tests. It might be as simple as getting the participants to help with food prep. It can be a range of different things, and again, it doesn't need to be something that's very formal. We would expect organisations to be really creative about being inclusive, and how they can reach, the harder to reach groups. So those children that have special educational needs and disabilities, or the secondary school age group, it doesn't take a genius to work out that perhaps a 4-hour day camp isn't going to be massively appealing to them. So coming up with some creative solutions as to what might appeal to those audiences to engage them in something that's positive. The other parts of the kind of minimum standards is that we are required by DfE to ask providers to include some food education for families and carers, ideally 1 session per week. And again, that might be something that looks like a family cooking session, or a session around to how to cook, source, prepare sort of nutritious and low-cost meals. Again, flexibility and creativity is welcome. Policies and procedures, as I mentioned earlier, providing evidence of those related and relevant policies, so that we can ensure that all provision is to a high standard, and Ofsted registration where applicable. Signposting, so providers must be able to signpost families that need additional support to those organisations that can provide that additional support. So it might be signposting them to Citizens Advice Bureau, it might be signposting them to the school nurse to get additional support around nutrition. It can be a range of different organisations, and again, within the guidance document there is some further suggestions of where you can signpost families to if needed. And as with all programmes, obviously measurement and evaluation, a willingness from organisations to meet the reporting requirements that we have, and to measure the impact of the programme, and how successful it is. So just to talk you through what we're going to be doing in Surrey around the opportunities. So obviously I talked at the beginning about there being plenty of opportunities. We're looking at 3 different grant programmes for organisations to bid for funding for. And these are now live on the website. The application form is now live on our website. So you can hopefully leave this webinar, get your brains ticking over and think about how and if you would like to apply for some funding. The grant programmes, like I said, there's 3 of them. Organisations can apply for multiple grants. You don't have to apply, you don't feel like you can only apply for one. You might apply for grant A and grant C, or you might only apply for one. It's completely up to you. We want the flexibility and the creativity there for organisations to be able to provide this high quality provision over the summer. So grant A, adding places, and grant B is bridging gaps, and grant C is connecting communities. I'll go into more detail on each of those in a second. But our grant application process is open to a variety of different organisations. Like I said, we want the flexibility, we want the collaboration of organisations to work together. So it could be councils working with sports clubs, working with charities, working with the local primary school, the local food bank, and also obviously private providers. You're welcome to apply as well, where your activities align with the objectives of what we're trying to achieve. So to cover off grant A around adding places, so this grant stream is for existing holiday provision. So if you already run existing holiday programs, you would effectively bid for some funding to open up that provision to free school meal eligible children. That's already part of your existing delivery. So the grant will cover the cost of the child's place, providing that healthy meal, and any administration costs that may crop up as a result of taking free school meal bookings. So like I said, this is a fairly simple opportunity. Like I said, if you are already an existing provider that is planning to deliver summer holiday activity, then this one could be a good one to open up that provision to the eligible families that would be part of this programme. Grant B is around bridging gaps. So again, looking for providers who maybe already have an existing activity scheme and taking that scheme to a new location. It might be an area that you've never worked in before, and we are looking for applications from all areas of Surrey. You'll see on the slide there that I've mentioned about specific target areas, and I'll come on to kind of give you some more information about that a bit later on. But this is basically a similar model to Grant A, but you're taking that model into a new location. So it might be another school down the road. It could be it might be on the other side of Surrey. And it's the same grant, grant funded opportunities around the cost of place, the healthy meal and the admin costs, but we've added in that because it's a new venture, there might be some venue costs that you need to cover off as well. And then grant C is, I guess, our most flexible opportunity, where we're looking for kind of innovative and a lot of innovative ideas, lots of creativity and collaboration between local organisations. So we're looking for, like I said, new schemes that might inspire and connect the community, encourage parental involvement, involve local professionals. And like I said, for the right programs, we will give more flexibility around how those kind of 4x4 requirements are met. When I say 4x4, I mean 4 hours a day, 4 hours a day, 4 days a week. And like I said, there are a few more extra kind of bits that you can bid for funding for, and priority again will be given to applications that service kind of the hotspot areas that I'll go on to talk about in a minute. And like I said, all these grant streams, you can apply for multiple, or you can apply for just one of them. That's completely up to you. Recognise that, like I said, there's a range of different organisations on the call on this webinar today, and some of you might be sitting there thinking this is a really, really big ask, and we are under no illusion that, you know, we appreciate this is a big opportunity, but also it can be quite daunting. We've certainly, as Active Surrey, we've been very daunted by this ourselves. But you might only be sitting there and thinking that I can only do the activity part, or I could only do the food part. We would still really encourage you to apply and state this on your application form. So there is a question within the application form asking specifically around this, and we will help providers to connect the dots basically. So we're going to try and map some of the provision and connect local organisations with other local organisations to make sure that we can provide this really high quality provision that we're looking for. We have also had conversations with 1215, who are Surrey County Council's schools catering contract, and they are involved, and we've had, like I said, early discussions with them about how they can help us fill some of those gaps in provision, particularly around food. Appreciate that food might be the most daunting part for some organisations. But we've also got, like I said, a range of people on the call. I know that there are some food banks on the call as well. So how can we link everybody together to make a really community-driven offer? for those free school meal eligible families. So I talked earlier about priority places that we've identified, and there's no doubt that there are free school meal children in nearly every school in Surrey, but there are disparities from location to location. There are parts of Surrey where there are a lot of free school meal children due to locality and the number of, in terms of population density. So it's a very natural thing that's kind of come out. And these hotspot locations, like I said, we've identified are higher numbers of free school meal children. So we would need to have more provision in those areas. And applications will be accepted from across the county. Like I said, we do want to get a range of spread in terms of geography, but we will try and prioritise applications within particular locations to try and maximise the opportunities that are there. There are 46 identified locations. There's some in every single borough and district. So each one of the 11 boroughs and districts has at least one sort of hotspot place or location. So there's plenty of spread across the county in terms of every borough and district having some priority locations. And these locations are documented out within the guidance document, again, that's on the website. And obviously programmes that can be sustained moving forward will also, how the programmes are so sustained moving forward will also be considered, because this funding from the Department of Education is, unfortunately, it's only for the year, and we don't know whether it will continue into next year at this moment in time. So just to talk a little bit more broadly around the kind of marketing and how it will work, I guess is probably quite a big question on a lot of people's lips. So the programme will be marketed across the county to those eligible families from us and from Surrey County Council, but we would also look for organisations to reach out to their local schools, have those sort of localised conversations about the offers that are available to families. There will be sort of an advanced referral process where priority children within the Surrey County Council networks through social services and family support can be referred early. And the way that it will work, I guess, from a parent's perspective is we will promote a website to those families where they can type in their postcode, like a central finder, and they can find their local camps, their local opportunities. And that website would then link to ideally your website, where you'd have your own booking system for people to book on, like it was regular holiday provision. If providers don't have their own booking systems, again, we can signpost to organisations or find solutions for providing a booking system if needed. And the eligible free school meal children will receive a voucher, and then in return that voucher will redeem their free place on the activity. So how to get involved? Like I've said, the electronic application form is on our website. Just to note that it is if you have your cookies enabled on your device that you are completing the form on, it will save it. There isn't actually a button on the form, unfortunately, to click save. But if you enable your cookies, we've test run it a lot, it will save your information so you don't have to keep refilling it in. But yeah, so the e-form is now live on our website, and the guidance and the FAQ document is also on our website. And because of the timescales, I do really appreciate that it's a short turnaround. We're asking to have applications in by the 26th of March. And I know that's only sort of three and a half weeks away now. But we have to have those in so we can do all the right checks that we need to. And in order for us to get the information back to build this kind of portal website for parents. So I appreciate the timescales are really tight, and I hope that doesn't put anyone off. And again, if it does cause any massive concern, then please do reach out to us and let us know. So that's the end of me talking for a little bit. Like I said, all the information is on our website. This webinar will be put on our website afterwards, as will the slides from today. And obviously, if you do have any questions, you can pop them into the chat box now. Myself and Laurie will answer them. Or if you have questions when you leave this webinar, then please do email us on the email address on the screen.